Hey everybody, it's Brandy from Venus and Retro Tarot, and it's time for another week ahead video. So this week's speaking card is Temperance, and I'm going to be honest with you, this is a card that I have a lot of trouble with. It always trips me up, and I think that's by design. It's a card that's really magical. There's a lot that goes into it. So I guess if you kind of take that into consideration going through this week, that, you know, it's very interesting, because in my learning about it through Tarot for the Wild Soul, it's a card that deals with timing and time. You know, Temperance, the name, you know, even has time in it. So it's not a fast card. So it's like, how can we encapsulate this within a week, right? It's not realistic, but it is something that we're going to encounter as a mini spiral within this Hangman month. So my understanding of Temperance is it comes right after the Death card. So if you think about what happens in death, you know, death is not a literal death usually. It's more of an ego death. So in death, we're dying to our old ways of being, of thinking, of, you know, we've gone through Hanged Man where we're figuring out, you know, we're taking a new perspective, what serves us, what doesn't. And then, you know, in the death process, in the Death card, we actually do the dying, the ego death. So when we're coming out of that into Temperance, we're seeing things in a new way, you know, and there's something it's a lot of trust, because by the time the ego dies, we're letting in spirit. There's an angel in the card. It's a card of alchemy. The way that the angel is poised in the card, you know, they're balancing with their 1 foot on a rock. The way that they're pouring the cups back and forth between each other, like it really, the bottom cup is pouring upward. Like, these things they're impossible for us to do on our own, right? It takes believing in something bigger than ourselves. And that's a really big concept for me. I'm still, you know, trying to understand that. And I also know it's a blending of fire and water. Like there's alchemy in this card. It's really magical. It's ruled by Sagittarius. So, you know, and Sag is the sign that is really, you know, about higher knowledge and, you know, expansion and travel. You know, it's Jupiter. So, you know, we're getting a taste of that this week, and it's not something that is like going to be over once it's done. You know, life is a spiral, and we'll move in and out of these cycles. But, you know, within our Hangman month, we're getting some divine, you know, we're opening ourselves to the divine and allowing whatever it is that you believe to really be present with you this week. So we're going to do a cross and just take a look at the energies and whatever advice can serve us this week. So I'm going to do a couple shuffles and I will deal our cards. So here we go. Okay. So let's see what we have here. So we have been getting quite a few of these cards, or at least I've been seeing them quite a bit. So our central card is the Three of Wands in reverse. So I encountered this card this week, actually, in another reading that I did. But the Three of Wands in the upright, and this is another card that is very I was talking to somebody about it, how it is related to the Temperance card, because fire, wands are fire, and there's water, in this card. So in the Three of Wands, this is an expansion. Like in the Two of Wands, we're seeing the potential in something. In the Three of Wands, we're really letting it grow. We're opening ourselves up to, our creativity. We're being expansive. We're launching something. So, and you see how the person in the card, they're looking over the land, and they're sending their ships out to sea. Like, it can involve travel. There's not a whole lot of travel going on right now, but like, I think of it more, creative projects have been coming up for me a lot, and how I want to expand this channel. And I thank everyone who has subscribed here on YouTube, since I won't be posting these videos on IGTV anymore. But I think about that, like if there's any creative projects that you're doing right now, and it might feel like you're feeling a little creatively blocked. And I know I've been feeling that a lot lately, or, bored or stagnant, because in the reverse, this feels like the energy isn't moving the way that we need it to, right? So like maybe, I like looking at if a card is in the reverse, how can we look back to the card before it to kind of see how we can turn this energy upright? So if we think about the Two of Wands, it's really all about potential. Like in the Ace, we've gotten the spark, and in the Two, we're seeing the potential in the energy that we have and how we can use it and make something, create something with it. So going back and maybe doing a review of, what it is that you want to do, and really getting clear about the next steps for you, can turn this Three upright. If you're working on something, because, we're all, well, I don't want to say all, but the majority of us, we have extra time where we're home during this pandemic. And then this card to me also looks like, planning the next steps for the collective future as well. So really taking time to go back and, if there were a couple things a few months ago that seemed like they were a really good idea and you put them on the shelf, maybe pull them out, and see what it is that you can do to work on them. Or, maybe that means, learning something new. If you're home and you're bored and you just feel stuck inside, what can you do to liven up your energy? Is there a new project that you can take on? Is there anything, that you can do? And even activism from home, writing, if you like to do that, dance, any kind of exercise, but something that will get your energy flowing, because this to me feels like stuck, or that maybe you're not, because threes are also, co-creation. So getting in touch with spirit, because Temperance there's that angel there. So it really is a connection with the divine, like, let your guides in, let that energy move. So that is, that's the central card of kind of what we're dealing with this week. And what can ground you is, look at that, the Four of Wands. So in the Four, we're looking at, fours are a container and their boundaries, right? So learning how to, make space when we're working so hard. See, this is why I was just talking about like doing a craft, or, doing something to move your energy. When we're working so hard, we need to take time out for fun, for enjoyment. Four of Wands is a celebratory energy, but, if you really think about just the wands in general being fire and being energy and being passion, and then fours being a container, like how can we contain our fire so that it doesn't, because if you think about by the 10 of Wands, like how overburdened we feel, how can we create a container for our energy? It really says, do something that, is freeing for you, so that, you're not laying more and more wands on top of you. that we really, want to make time for play and enjoyment so that we are, being our best selves and that we feel like our best selves. Because I can tell you, whether or not the Ten of Wands is here in this spread, I have been feeling so bogged down by energy. I've been so tired. I've been napping, taking really long naps, and it didn't even feel refreshing. Like I was not feeling like myself this week. And it's probably because I really need to take time and have some fun, some light fun, something that doesn't involve work. I've been working so much, and that can be a grounding force for me. So here I am telling myself to take my own advice, and I hope you take my advice too, because if this card is coming up, then I'm not alone in feeling like this. So really, really, look at how you can make time for fun, make time to celebrate the good things that are happening right now, because even in the midst of like total bullshit, there's always, we talked about joy last week. Like there's always moments of joy, and we can always, spend time with the people around us, just doing something light. So that is important this week. And what we're reflecting on is the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups has been coming up a lot for us. So reflecting on how, we can support each other, how you can be an ear to someone, or, just an open heart, and share what you have going on with you with another person, and how maybe that can lighten up and free your energy, right? Because in the Three of Wands, we're kind of feeling stuck. We're not reaching out, we're not talking, to anyone, and it can kind of maybe feel isolated. She's alone in that card. But Six of Wands is Six of Cups, is really playful as well. It's an older person and a younger person in this card, sharing a moment. And, this could even be inner child work. We pulled in my daily on Friday a card about journaling it out. That's inner child work. Sometimes that Six of Cups we're doing all with ourselves, like, making friends with our inner child. And this could be, just getting in touch with a family member, checking in on them. How are you doing? And how are you really? Not just letting them say fine and going on with the conversation, but really, really, having a heart to heart with someone that's close to you. And that can be really, really stabilizing. And, it's something to reflect on. If you've been avoiding that, or, forgetting to call people, I've been sleeping so much that I really haven't kept in touch with people as much as I wanted to. And, I made some calls this weekend, and it felt good, to get in touch with people and really check and see how they're doing, rather than just wondering about it. Because then the guilt starts, like, I didn't call my mom. Oh man, the day is over again. I just put the kids to bed. I'm tired, So really make sure that you're checking in on the people that, mean a lot to you. And, don't feel guilty if you haven't done it. People, the people close to you will understand if you haven't. So that is what we're reflecting on. And what we're releasing this week is the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. So the Ten of Pentacles, by the time we've gotten to the Ten of Pentacles, we've been working really hard at something, to make it grow. And this week, I see this release as being like, a little bit of a break, because, things have been very tense. Every time we look at the news, there's something new. And, people are, my husband, he's, every week it's kind of tenuous whether he's going to be going back to work full time. Everyone's worried about work. And then also, how we're going to get this society functioning back to normal. And that can really take its toll, by the time we get to a 10. But to me, this seems like, kind of, releasing what we thought we were supposed to be, working on in the 10, and just really getting back to this 4, if that makes sense at all. It could mean several things, but to me, if we're releasing the 10 in the reverse, maybe we're not trying to take it all on by ourselves. Maybe we're turning it upright and embracing the people around us, just like in the Six of Cups. So, really being less focused on self and work and more, in our community, even if it's virtual community, how can you reach out to others? And what we're embracing this week is the Emperor. So we're in an Emperor year and we're embracing the Emperor. So, Temperance is deep soul work. That's the beginning of the rebirth in the majors. So really, keep in mind the bigger picture is what I'm seeing with this, with the Emperor, like the bigger picture of the foundation that you're setting this year. Because in any given moment, our actions ripple out into the future. Like time is not fixed. And if we're talking about Temperance, it's a card about time. So, the future isn't fixed. Whatever we do in the now really ripples out into our future and, can change things. So to me, the Emperor says, be aware, of the foundation that you're setting this year, because this is a really, really formative year. Because if we talk about beacon cards, this is not only the beacon card for the year, it's the beacon card for the decade. If we're thinking about 2020s, all of the years up until 2030, this is an Emperor decade as well. So, this year, I can't stress enough like how important it is to really consider where it is that you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years, because we're setting that foundation and you want it to be right before the concrete hardens is really the best analogy that I can give you. So, that's what we're looking at this week, and it might seem might seem like a big invitation, and that's because it is. And it's not meant to be all done this week. So, breathe out, but it's just a continuation of the work that we're doing. So I'm going to pull an oracle card and we'll get some advice for the week. Nobody wants to jump, so I'll just take what's on the top. Oh, we got be bold. Don't be afraid to stand out. So there you go. That's a perfect message for Three of Wands in reverse, where we might be feeling, a little more internal by ourselves, pensive, reflective, not really having that energy to shine, like the wands do, that's fire energy. Be bold, do something bold. And so I want you to do something for me. I want you to think of a number between 1 and 3, 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to pick 3 affirmation cards. Don't think too hard about it. Whatever the first number that came to your head is the one that I want you to go with. So I'm going to pull 3 affirmation cards. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Okay, so for those of you who picked number 1, I choose kindness over cool. And you can say that to yourself this week. I choose kindness over cool. All right, and for those of you who picked number 2, we got I laugh freely and loudly. I'm proud of the space I take up. I laugh freely and loudly. I'm proud of the space I take up. So repeat that to yourself this week. And those who pick number 3, the energy I put out is equal to the energy I receive. The energy I put out is equal to the energy I receive. All right, and that is the message for this week. I hope you have a wonderful Sunday, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye, loves.